Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 163 of the High Sensitivity Podcast, and thank you for listening. If it's your first time here, we talk about video game and movie news, as well as what we watched or played over the week. My name is Barry, along with my fellow knights of the High Sensitivity Podcast.
Oh, Knights. Ooh. My name's Craig, currently sporting a Cafe LeBlanc shirt, so I'm repping Atlas.
There you go. My name is also Craig, fresh off a bazillion games being announced, I guess.
I know.
I'm a little overwhelmed this week, but we're here.
Yeah, the news itself is chalked up this week. There are many things we're going to go over. So I guess the first thing is, do we talk about the Xbox conference that just ended?
Sure. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
It's still fresh in our minds.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess the big thing here is Atlas had a big showing at the showcase. Games like Persona 3 Reload, which we had called on this podcast. First one
Yeah.
call it, else tell you that. Persona 5 Tactica, which they're just milking the Persona 5 series
for real.
They are.
And the weirdest game that I think the most confusing probably as well is Metaphori Fantasio. Is the title from the creators of Persona 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah.
It's a Barry game. I'll play it too,
all
probably.
Oh, I'll try it for sure. I'll try
definitely try it.
They're all Barry games, but
did you get the same sense that I did with all these games, that it was kind of like a little bit of a slap in Sony's face, where they're like, you can play all these day one?
I definitely think so. I do wonder, like, if there was some money, involved with them, like, announcing all this stuff, because you'd think that, JRPGs do tend to sell better on Sony products, and maybe that's why Sony's like, we really and there's a chance that Sony doesn't care, because JRPGs have always sold better on PlayStations. Take, for example, all of those really long Atelier Ryza games, like JRPGs, they're on PlayStation, not on Xbox. So maybe they just don't care.
Do you think any of those end up on PlayStation Plus day one?
No.
Ooh. No.
I think they're gonna make you buy them.
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Man,
they should be worried that the Atlas fan base will be switching over to Xbox with all these day ones, because that's what I'm doing. I know I'm one of millions of people who enjoy JRPGs, but that's a movement that they should. I don't know if they're worried about, but I think they should be. Because I legitimately exclaimed in my home, because we knew Persona 3 was we just knew in our hearts of hearts.
It was also leaked. Yeah,
it was also leaked.
Yep.
Yeah, and we were essentially just waiting for that announcement, but I still had the same gas that I would have if I didn't know when they actually showed the footage and such like that. So I would be worried,
Yeah. I don't know. It's how many people do you think own both, though? Like an Xbox and a PlayStation. And do you think that's enough for people to buy that Series S that they're advertising for $350?
Could be.
I think the whole showing. I think the whole showing was enough to sell a console to a bunch of people.
Okay,
but that's something obviously we could still get into in terms of which one was better or what was more exciting.
Oh well, I was about to say, I think the conversation pretty much ends it was Xbox's that was better.
It was Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
Sony did not have as much as probably we all hoped, but I think this is kind of to be expected, considering all of the heavy hitters we got on PS4, and now all of those heavy hitters that we just got on PS5.
Right.
So I don't know. It doesn't surprise me.
I think PS5 still has the better lineup this year.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Right. So, but next year is the real question, because what do we have next year for PlayStation announced yet? Anything? I don't think so.
I don't know.
I'm trying to think. I don't think so.
No, yeah, not that I can think of, which is the problem. That's the first issue they have. I can't think of any.
Yeah. And I'm sure they will. It's not like they're not going to have any exclusives next year. They will. But as opposed to the however many they announced here, 20 or so, 25, not exclusives, but at least Game Pass day one included. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they it made me excited for 2024 gaming. I have this, like, I'm sure a lot of gamers have like a mental calendar of like what's coming out, what they're going to be playing, and obviously with everything combined that was announced this week, September, October, essentially holiday season is stacked. So I got really excited watching it for 2024.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I'm going to play this in early 2024, play this in middle, whatever. So
Right.
that's the feeling I got. They may not have, like we just said, that strong showing for 2023, but oof, if this was a sports team, we would be thinking Xbox would be going to the big game next year. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Yep.
So
True.
Yeah, and then I guess before we get into some of the other stuff like Fable, sorry, blah. Yeah, I guess we'll talk about Fable. I meant Starfield, but we'll talk about Fable
Star
Yeah.
first.
Fable.
Fable.
Fable, it's what they led the show off with.
Yeah.
Definitely and I was telling Craig this before we started. Like, I didn't think it was Fable at first, just because I thought it was some weird like reincarnation of Jack and the Beanstalk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But then of course it made itself true that it was Fable. I never played Fable, any of them.
Okay.
So like it'll be up to
I think
you
they're
guys.
on Game Pass, aren't they?
They
probably
are.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
They are. I played it a little bit last year.
Yeah.
But like Fable, like is are you guys excited for this? It seems to be
Yeah.
a brand new one at least.
Most definitely. The most exciting game to me, no. But
Right.
if you're going to kick off your showing, you're going to kick it off with Fable, because I mean, how many people have been clamoring for Fable for, oh my gosh, I can't even think of how many years. It's got to be
2 or 3 since that last trailer teaser.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm excited. It looks like it's, I mean, they didn't show any gameplay really, but I liked the direction and the comedy that they had in it, the humor, and it looks like they're going to modernize it while keeping what made it Fable. I don't know. Craig, you're probably the most fabled playing person of the three of us, because I just did a little bit with one. So I'm interested to see, like what interpretation they have in this day and age,
Right. Yeah, I mean, like they were big on good and bad decisions. Like
Mm-hmm.
you could either be, the savior of the town or like the worst person possible. So I don't know. What I told Barry this earlier is that it kind of looks like they may not be going that route and just going towards more of like, let's tell like actual fables like Jack and the Beanstalk. But the humor is still there, which is good. I don't know until we actually see some solid gameplay. Like I like what I saw, but there's still 99% of the game that we don't know about.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like it's coming out anytime soon still. So I'm gonna say probably 2025 at the earliest.
Yeah, or 26.
26.
Yeah.
So who knows? I'm not gonna get too excited until it's like a year off.
Yeah, agreed.
Can I ask you gentlemen about 2 games before we go into Starfield and such? What did you think of the South of Midnight? Because that intrigued me. It was the trailer literally right after Fable with the Bayou.
Looks like Forspoken.
It's like, it definitely has like a little bit of feel with that. I'm kind of aware. I don't know too much about like this like South folklore, because there is a lot of it. It's almost like a whole different mythology in a way, but I wanted to see gameplay just because I thought the art style was really unique, but I would have liked to have seen gameplay just to see how it played. It might just be a single player Monster Hunter game, to be truly honest, but that's what I wanted to see, more of that.
Yeah. I don't know. It looks interesting. It's said next year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was that 2024? Okay.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it piqued my interest for sure. But it did remind me of Avowed a little bit. Or not Avowed. Why am I blanking? On PlayStation. Forspoken.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see what they do with the art style. I liked, and then the sassiness of it as well. So it just, I thought it was, even though there was no gameplay, I thought that was also something that looked like it could be intriguing for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And then the other one I had was what was it, Clockwork Revolution, the one that was essentially Bioshock.
Yeah, that's exactly what we were all saying. Is it looks like BioShock Infinite.
The
Also
BioShock
a long
game.
ways off.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I thought it was going to be the one to get us to Judas, which is another BioShock. Like,
Yep. It looks good though. Like
It
I'm
does.
that one's near the top for me
Yeah.
of like
Yeah.
most excited. But
Yeah.
then again, I don't want to get too excited because I was the same way about We Happy Few, and that game was absolute garbage.
Mm.
So that's an interesting one.
Yeah, they it looks like it has a not Prince of Persia time system, but like I kind of like that it looks like you're doing things in the past to affect the present. It's got like a female antagonist, like an overlord kind of thing,
Yeah.
in a city that it looks very intriguing.
Yeah, I agree.
And for the next portion, do we need to keep bringing out Keanu Reeves? Like, he
Yes.
always feels so awkward. Like that's my thing is like
Mhm.
he's this badass in John Wick, but then I see him when he tries to promote anything cyberpunk. Like, why are you so weird?
He was
Why?
so memeable. He was so memeable.
I think part of it is like he's admitted he doesn't play video games.
Yeah.
He hasn't played Cyberpunk. So like I think he's doing this out of the goodness of his heart, right? He's promoting this game, but it's very obvious like he has this script he's reading of details of the game and he has no idea what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Like the words he's saying, he doesn't know what they mean because he doesn't play games. So to me, I'm just like, I get what you're doing and I appreciate that like you're trying to put your like you care about it, but like yeah, I don't think we really need to bring him out every time.
Yeah.
Do you think
that's how I feel.
Do you think there's an online discussion versus like in a versus kind of thing where it's Keanu versus Nick Cage who had the showing?
Yeah.
Like Nicolas Cage looked like he knew what he was talking about a lot more than Keanu, and
Mhm.
somebody got fired on his mic volume display.
Yeah.
It sounded
Yeah.
like he may have screamed and like destroyed the mic accidentally or hit it, and then nobody replaced it before they did their extra take or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
And then I'm just gonna go through a couple smaller ones
Yeah.
before more of the bigger ones. We have Star Wars Outlaw.
Pumped.
Star Wars game.
Looks good.
Yes, it does.
33 Immortals.
That one looks good.
Yeah, 33 player co-op.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
What?
That's wild.
In this economy?
Payday 3.
Yeah.
Which like I haven't played Payday in a while. I do wonder whether or not the Payday series has gotten better since I last played it. Path of the Goddess, which I really enjoyed that one. That one was cool.
Looks very cool.
Just like the Japanese horror portion of it. Sim games, we got Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 career mode is what it looks like.
So pumped for that.
Yeah, City Skylines 2, which just looks like I can build my own city.
Looks great.
I have to mention this.
Yeah.
What is Overwatch 2 doing? I
was going to ask you.
I am so confused as to what like they do this whole thing where okay, we're not doing the story mode, and then the next thing we hear about it is that
Story
there's an
mode.
event and it looks like it's a ton of story. So it's just like characters are interacting how like I would want them to. Like I just don't know what Blizzard is doing. Like they confuse me to no end right now. It is probably the weirdest relationship with the game.
I think it's them saying
like that's my problem.
I really think it was them saying please play our game.
Yeah.
Nobody's playing it, please play it.
We're sorry.
Mm-hmm.
What they should have done is not released it in October and released it with all the stuff that we just saw all together, so we wouldn't. Yep. That way we're not calling it, Overwatch 1.5, or just even not playing it, because as soon as October ended, I put down the game like a lot of other people did. The hype wore off.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And then some of the bigger ones, Setsuna Saga Hellblade 2.
Yes.
Telling Craig, I am more confused than I ever have been.
You just got to play the first one.
I know.
The first one is great.
First one,
yep.
But like that trailer, like showed like nothing.
Nope.
At the exact same time, and I guess that's probably what they're trying to do. Is they're just trying to show you that it is coming out this year, which is good because we hadn't heard anything since. But it's just such a different trailer from what we saw the first one when they were fighting a human troll type thing, and now it's and I get that even my little computer speakers were doing all of the different voices everywhere and things like that. So it's an experience, but I definitely need.
Oh, it's definitely an experience.
Comment of the showcase when I was watching that, somebody had put in like the chat, ASMR Simulator 2023.
I love it. I love it. You know what's so funny about that game? I was, or like that showing, I was explaining it to my wife because for me, like I actually just finished that game in early February. I had like 30 minutes left and I did it. And for me, the trailer was just a reminder of what to expect in the game. Like I was explaining the voices to my wife. I was explaining how they literally did a lot of research on how people who actually hear voices react, feel. There's like a lot of psychology behind the game itself, which made the first one impressive. So I'm excited. The trailer, it doesn't tell you anything, but it reminded anybody who played it what to expect in terms of when they do, because I mean the game has combat, but it's a lot of walking simulating / I hear voices simulating, like that's, and puzzle solving. So like there's a lot that actually isn't related to combat in the game. I'm interested to see if that game does add more combat, because it had a great balance in the first one, and telling a great story, which I hope they do, because the first one told a heck of a story. So
Start to get into some of the bigger games now, with Forza Motorsport coming out in October. Again, we know what this game is. Looks cool. And then we got it feels like it's like this classic, like, okay, here's the real life versions of these cars. Like that's what they always do for these games. They did it with Forza 5 with the Mercedes Benz, and now with this one, they did it with Cadillac and Chevy with General Motors. So it was just like, yes, that's how we know the game's close to coming out. They brought out real cars.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then let's see here. Anything else before I get in? Oh, there's Avowed. From
That's
the
interesting.
Obsidian. Yep, Obsidian, and like for the most part, like we just have to see what happens. It just looks like Elder Scrolls with a more of a focus, I guess, on magic and you being some kind of superhuman being. It seems what you guys describe as Fable is what Avowed is, but it's swords and and magic
in first person.
Yeah,
in first person.
We did have then as well Elder Scrolls Online Necrom. That expansion is going to be playable. That's like I think playable in like the next week. I think is what it is within the week here.
Yep.
And then Starfield, the game they spent the most time going.
You missed a couple.
There's one I wanted to make fun of, but like you guys, I don't know if you guys would make fun of it or not. It was Fallout 76 Atlantic City.
I try to forget the game. That's why I mentioned it.
Yeah.
I was wondering how you guys would react. I thought of you guys because like I tried Fallout once and I never did it again. It was New Vegas, the one I tried, and
oh my god.
Watching that trailer though, I was thinking, well, what if they took Fallout 76 and then just like allowed players to visit New Vegas in a new way? I thought that would have been cool. But instead they're taking people to Atlantic City where okay.
Listen, there's a dedicated fan base for that game now, so I get why they keep putting out content.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I think we were all expecting the New Vegas 2 or New Vegas remaster or something, and not more 76.
What did I miss?
So the ones that I had starred, first one, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the only reason I starred that is, Barry, if you remember, we both committed to beating Red Dead Redemption 2 this year, and we just gave up.
Yeah.
Right. So I've shifted my focus to completing all the Yakuza games instead. So I'm about 25 hours into Yakuza 0. So I'm rolling right along. But so for me, that Infinite Wealth, I was like, yup. Like I'm ready.
Yeah.
Those games are so crazy.
They
Absolutely.
are.
And that trailer was hilarious.
Yeah,
it was
just so stupid.
I have a Like a Dragon question for you, Craig or Barry. They're doing like one a year now.
Seems like it. Yeah.
Well, there's a ton of different Yakuza games.
And then you have the other one. You have
the one
whatever
with
the
no name. Something
and that's bringing back the main character.
Yeah.
Exactly. So like I was trying to get, because like I like a Dragon, and
Mhm.
I've played a Yakuza game before, and I liked that.
Genuinely funny game as well. Like genuinely like a
Yeah.
tremendous
Yeah,
funny game.
That
yeah,
game's so different from regular Yakuza games, though.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And I even what's the detective one? I played both of
Judgment.
those. Judgment.
Judgment.
Those
Mhm.
Judgment and Lost Judgment are great too. So like
Mhm.
I'm in this style series developer type of game, but like I was wondering what would be the one to play like
Yeah.
of the two. And I know that one of those trailers wasn't in the Xbox showcase, but like
Right.
I was more intrigued by the one that I saw in the showcase to be honest.
Well, I think the other one was more for people who have played Yakuza. The main character in Yakuza is Kiryu, and he
Hmm.
just, he was gone. They said they were done with that story after I think 6, which is the latest one, I believe. So for them to bring him back is a big deal to people who enjoy that series. Like, oh, he's back. That's awesome. But Like a Dragon is so like Yakuza is a wacky game, but Like a Dragon was like times 10. And
Yeah.
it was also turn-based combat
Hmm.
RPG, which is wild. But it worked. So I'm definitely down to play that. The other one that I wrote down was it was really short, but Still Wakes the Deep.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
That one kind of looked like maybe an
The only yeah.
alien type or amnesia type game. Look cool.
Yeah. Was it like the only horror game they showed,
Yeah.
by the
Yeah,
way?
pretty
Well,
much.
then Path of the Goddess was like based on horror, but it definitely was
Yeah,
more action based.
right.
Yeah.
And then like if we want to talk about smaller ones, I was actually kind of interested in Jusan. I think
Yeah.
that was
Yes.
the mountain
Yes.
climbing game. I
Hmm.
thought that was but like the main thing and where most of my I guess brain power is right now is what I think of Starfield.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Let's get
Let's
it's
do
into
it.
it.
so Starfield. I am just in general mildly interested in this game
Ooh.
now.
Okay.
This game looks a million times better than what any of the
Hmm.
Fallout games or Elder Scrolls
Yeah.
games have had. And after their half an hour, 45-minute deep dive into
Yeah.
Starfield, it definitely seems like they took a lot of time and
Yeah.
made this game probably like how it needed to be. And all you can really hope for is that there's just not the bugs that the other Fallout games were riddled with. That's I guess like the main thing that I'm still hesitant about and why I'm not more on the excited part of it. I'm on the
Sure.
mildly excited, fence, but I'm not over the fence. I'm just kind of standing on top of it.
Yeah.
I
There are
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, go ahead. Go
I was
ahead.
gonna say there's things I liked. Um, I couldn't help but say No Man's Sky, but better throughout
Mhm.
the entire showcase.
That's what
For
everyone's in the
that.
comments was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
but like there are things that didn't that kept me away from No Man's Sky that you can do in here, which is more of the combat. It looks like it's just as expansive in terms of like when they were just like, you see that's a moon, you can go there. Like they were doing that kind of thing, so you can literally go anywhere. I hope the story can back up the expansiveness of it because you can get a little lost in creating a story with a intricate world like that. But there were some things I liked. I think I'm with you, Barry, where I'm mildly interested. Not I wouldn't buy the game if it wasn't on Game Pass. Still
Yep.
happy that I can have Game Pass to access it. But I don't know. I'm in mild too. I am a lot more excited than I was in the previous things that they showed, which deterred me completely from playing.
Yep.
So to show where I'm at now, there was definitely a surge
Yeah.
in,
Yep.
in my interest in the game.
I think my big thing with it is it got delayed because they knew it wasn't where they thought it should be. I was in the, I'll download it, but probably only play it for like 10 minutes into, I'm mildly interested to check this out. Um, I think what gives me hope is Microsoft doesn't usually push a game this hard unless they know it's good. Right. And like they are pushing this thing just hard. Like
Yeah.
this is one of the best games of our generation. Like that's a bold statement for them to say. So I will give it its fair due. I don't think there's a single game that got announced today that I won't download on Game
Yeah.
Pass.
Yeah.
I think I'll probably
Yeah.
download every single one of these.
Yeah.
And
You're
there's
gonna
the
need
difference.
your hard drive.
Oh, you play them and delete them. It's all good.
Yeah.
But like there's the difference between this showcase and other ones we've seen. which goes
Yeah.
back to an argument we just mentioned. Most exciting, hands down, was this one. No talking for the majority of it until they got to the Starfield showcase as well.
Yeah.
You guys ready to talk about the Summer Games Fest hosted by
Yeah.
Geoff Keighley event?
All
Give me
4
those.
hours of it.
Yeah, not nearly as many things were announced during the main event. But
Yeah.
overall, we had Alan Wake 2, a lot more Alan Wake 2 stuff. Mortal Kombat 1 was showed off. Spider-Man 2 gets its release date of the 20th of October. We then have a new Sonic side-scroller and Sonic Superstars. We have
Pause there,
Farm.
Barry.
Yes.
Pause there, because I have a little tidbit for that Sonic game.
Please go.
Do you know who's directing that game?
Isn't it the ones that made Sonic Mania?
No. It's the man who made Balan's Wonderland.
Oh,
Yes. We're back to great.
We're back in. We're back in.
We're back to greatness.
Day one buy for Barry.
Yep, day one. I hope there's a collector's edition where I get a Balan Wonderland statue with it.
What'll happen is if you take your Balan Wonderland disc, because so many people don't have it, and place it near your console, you'll get added bonuses.
Yeah.
It'll be the amiibo. It'll be an amiibo.
The cover art for Balan Wonderland just rips off and becomes Sonic Superstars. Like I've had it all
Oh
along.
my god.
Oh man.
Sonic Superstars was in the Wonderland.
Oh,
I saw that and I was like, no way. All
Let's
right,
go.
whatever. Anyway,
That's funny,
continue.
especially with all the drama that he's surrounded in right now.
Insider trading, yeah.
Fae Farmer, September 8th, probably game of the year for me. I've never wanted to be a fairy farmer so much in my entire life. It just looks like Farmville, and then I thought it was Farmville, and then it turned into fairies, and I'm like, all right, let's go. Fairy farm.
Yeah.
Pal World, which is coming into early access in January. Pokemon with guns.
Pokemon with guns.
How strange. I thought some of the Pokemon designs Pokemon-like designs were actually kind of cute, and that's something that I usually don't see in those types of games. And then the biggest announcement was the big trailer for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth coming early 2024.
So excited.
Anything
Barry,
you guys like?
I enjoyed your text after that, Barry, by the way.
Yeah. Coming from somebody who is dabbled in all of the Kingdom Hearts lore, I saw that trailer and I have no idea what's going on.
Now, Craig, you and I both have a little bit more experience.
Yes.
Some things that stood out to me was I saw Hojo. I enjoy Hojo. I saw Sephiroth, alluding to Mother. That made me happy. All stuff that, like, obviously, Barry, you would not know, but and Red 13, more Red 13.
Yes.
He showed up at the end of the first game, but
Yeah.
he's huge, and I didn't see any Kate Sith in there, but that's okay.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm super excited. It looked great.
Yeah. I'm going to highlight your Red 13 comment because that's what I was, oh my God. One of my favorites from playing the game originally.
You guys really like Red 13. Interesting.
He's the best. He's the best. He's got a great backstory too.
Okay,
yeah, he does.
Interesting. But never, like, I am excited for that game regardless. But it just, like, I want you guys to understand, like, okay, so it opens up with them, like, being dead from it collapsing, but they're clearly not. They're talking about someone being gone for 7 years and not knowing what he did. And I think that's Cloud, but I'm not sure if he disappeared after that or then he came back.
Cloud.
It's Sora, Barry. It's Sora.
It's Sora.
It might as well be.
Cloud was Sora the whole time.
Yeah, but it is. Like, I'm super excited for that game. That will be, of course, another day one. I'm trying to actually get all the steelbooks for that game.
Okay.
So I'm hoping I can get the steelbook for this one as well. But it looks really cool. It looks really good. There's seems to be like tag team moves this time around, which kind of makes sense considering. But if we're talking about the biggest Final Fantasy VII thing, Ever Crisis by far, the new mobile game, that is the biggest announcement.
Yeah,
far and away.
Of course.
Sephiroth with a cell phone. Do you imagine how powerful that is?
Are you gonna play it?
No,
I'm not either.
I did think like Aerith's design. Like, I like the design in Ever Crisis at least. Like, I thought that was close. Like, oh, she looks more like a battle mage.
Yeah.
in Ever Crisis.
She's
But,
not. She's a flower girl.
yes, she's a flower. That's correct.
Yes.
Other than that, though, like Alan Wake 2, how excited are you for that one?
Looks great.
Yeah.
It does. Do you
Looks
like
like Resident
the
Evil.
Do you like the two protagonists kind of thing?
We'll see. It all depends. I have no doubt that the story will be entertaining. Remedy does a great job with any game with story. I've never been disappointed by them story wise, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I was watching one of my the streamers I watch react to it, and they made a good point of how Remedy doesn't really do survival horror.
Nope.
And it made me think, and I was like, well, Control, nope.
Mm-mm.
Control wasn't survival horror. Like, I just kept going back through their library, and I was like, well, no, you can't consider. I mean, I played enough of the first Alan Wake now, all 2 hours and or so.
Will you just finish it, please?
I know. I told my wife, I was like, we have to finish it because like we're not going to not play that game. Like we like playing survival horror together. So that looks like it's going to be the survival horror game right now of the October, September area. So I don't know. Like I'm excited. I'm interested to see how this other protagonist comes into the play. Maybe adding the gruff to Alan Wake's words. Because he is a writer.
The only thing I need from this game, and I have the utmost faith in Remedy to do it, is the other detective who is Max Payne. Like, that's Max Payne's actor. I need him to say some Max Payne lines in this game.
Okay.
Just tie it all together. And I have no doubt that Remedy will, because they like to do that kind of stuff. But the fact that you see him in that first trailer, and I was like, that is Max Payne. Max Payne was a detective, and now this guy is a detective. I'm just assuming it's Max Payne, and you can't tell me any differently.
That'll be cool if it is. Like
That'd be
Remedy always
hilarious.
seems to do that. Like they seem to like put these little tidbits of their other games into other.
Yep.
Games. It's nice. It's cool. And then go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Oh no, it's probably something that you're going to cover. So I'll keep. I have a couple of things like starred that I wanted to mention. They're all smaller things though.
Mortal Kombat 1. Like I'm not into fighting games, but this looks fun as heck to watch. I'm not good at fighting games. That's just the way things are. But it like the art style, the graphics, like all of it. It was almost like a moving like art in almost a way. I thought like the action sequences they were doing, like the in between the fights, were just so clean. It was I was just really impressed with this, and I know a lot of people are impressed with it. It's just something where I'm going to enjoy watching people play this game.
Yeah,
that's fighting games for me, is watching people play.
I'm still going back and forth on whether I'm going to just get it.
I'll just watch like the Evo tournaments. That's what I've been doing with Street Fighter. So I'll just watch that. I'm never going to be on that level.
Did you see, like, there was the only thing that I thought in that trailer was the lack of what I thought was any destructible environment portions. It didn't really look like the fighting had an interaction with the cool environments they were showing. Like that one room that looked like a billionaire's room. It was like a high rise, like kind of thing. That looked great. But like, I felt like I didn't see as much of a destructible nature to the environment, which is something I know they incorporated into fighting games well long ago to keep, to keep people interested and also to make it more interactive. So that was the only thing. Other than that, it looks fantastic. Fatalities, all that.
Yeah. Then we have the date for Spider-Man 2, October 20th. Like, you guys excited for that at all? Like,
yes.
I am excited.
All sold in. Yep.
I'm interested to see the numbers between the first Spider-Man and then this Spider-Man 2 game, just because like the popularity of Miles Morales has only skyrocketed to an incredible
biblical
feat there. Yeah, biblical.
Yeah.
So I want to see how much, like, I have a feeling this one is going to sell more, just because the PS5 is outselling the Xbox in crazy ways this generation. But I just want to see. Just got to see what happens. I am excited for what this one has to offer.
Don't ask me why I know this off the top of my head, but Spider-Man, the first game, sold 33 million copies. So there's your answer.
Oh, nice job.
You think it'll beat 33 million?
I think so, yeah.
I think so.
I do too. Yeah, I do too.
And like we just have like the bigger villains, and like it was kind of funny, like during that press conference where, like, obviously I think this game was supposed to be part of his Summer Games Fest, like that trailer that Sony showed. But Sony probably went, "Hey, we need to put something together," and they're like, "We already gave it to Jeff, and then and then they're like, "Okay, we'll give Jeff the date. You get the gameplay." Or
Yeah.
something like that is what it felt like to me, at least. But I had my doubts about this year just because it said fall 2023. Geoff Keighley then cleared things up 2 weeks later. Thank you, our savior, Geoff Keighley.
Yes, we
They
praise
will,
thee.
yeah, they will build a statue in this man's name one day.
You know how excited I am for this game. Craven is not nearly my favorite villain in that universe,
And there's apparently more
and
Yeah.
there's
than just
more.
what we've seen.
Exactly. And it's just like, that's one of the things that can tie somebody into playing a game is like, who are the villains, obviously, especially when you think Batman, you think Spider-Man specifically has some of the more iconic villains ever.
Yep.
And I just want to see it. I just want to play it. I just want it here in my home. So.
Yeah, because if you think about it, the Miles Morales game, Barry, I know you and I have both played it recently. The villains in that game are weak.
Compared to like what we have, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I know the criticism for like Miles has always been he's kind of not had the best villains.
Yep.
And as I am reading his comics, I'm sort of understanding that as well. The Snatcher, I had no idea who that was until I figured out who the Snatcher was.
What's his power?
He apparently snatches kids.
Yes, he does.
It's strange. It's really strange, and I get that he has the less. He has like less villains, but it just makes sense for him to kind of adapt and kind of borrow Spider-Man's villains, considering they're all in the same universe. So,
Yeah.
like what games did you want to mention, Craig?
First thing,
not really big.
First thing is a statement, and then I have a funny thing. I'm calling that Party Animals picks up where Fall Guys left off in terms of hype. Calling it now. I wrote that. I started that for some reason because I'm intrigued, and I could see it being like the next big thing. I mean, Fall Guys definitely did benefit from a surge during COVID as well, because we're all like at home and trying to think of a game we could play with our friends who are new gamers or whatever. But that's what I'm calling for Party Animals.
But you don't think that's more like Gang Beasts? Because that's what that game looks like to me. Is
Yeah.
Gang Beasts.
Yeah.
Not like the thing about Fall Guys is it was a battle royale without guns.
Yeah.
Just kind of arcadey fun. With
that's a good point. That's a good point. I think I was more alluding to just something that my mom would text me and say, "Hey, I'm thinking about getting into gaming. This would be the game I would want to play first."
Party Animals, yeah.
Yeah, like I want to be able to talk to you like more besides our normal calls and everything like that, and I want to play a game with you because I know you like games, like that kind of thing. That's what it seems more like to me. The other thing I had is Exoprimal going all in with having Street Fighter stuff already. With the game not being out, I wanted to get your guys' take on it. That's the only reason I started, not because I was like, "Oh, this is my favorite game." I wanted to see what you guys thought.
They have to have a way to drum up some promotion for this game because they really haven't done anything like promotional wise. So, with the popularity of Yakuza 6, Street Fighter 6, why not? I guess I thought the mecha thing that they were doing for him was cool. I just can't help but feel burned from Xbox's last, Redfall game. So is Exoprimal, going to be something similar or not? It's going to be
we'll
question.
We'll see.
I'll download it and give it a shot. It's gonna be on Game Pass.
Yeah. So. Anything else anybody wanted to talk about with the Summer Games Fest announcements, or the Xbox thing for that matter, in case we missed anything?
One more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Lies of P.
Yeah.
Do we know that date before it?
Yeah. No, we did not know the date.
Okay, so yeah, date release September 19th. Demo available. Yep. Not spoiling anything, but that will be one of the games played for me when we get into that.
And me 3.
We all played it. Look at that.
We'll call that Lies of 3.
Nope. Get out.
Because we're 3 people.
Yep, we're done.
Okay.
See you later. It's been nice. It's been nice talking to you guys. I'm out.
But just a couple other news stories as well that I thought were worth mentioning. The Nickmercs skin gets removed after homophobic comments, and then Tim the Tatman comes out and goes, "Please remove my skin," as Nickmercs is a good friend of mine. And it's like, it's so strange just because like that Tim the Tatman skin, very popular.
Yep.
Like
Mm.
every game I go into is Tim the Tatman. There's some skins of that. So I I feel like they can't he can't ask Call of Duty to take down a skin, I imagine, because he
I
probably
mean, he
signs.
can. Doesn't
Well,
mean they
He can.
will.
It's a,
yeah,
yeah.
that's what I mean. Yeah, like you can
Yeah.
ask, but the money they probably made off of that skin was more. But homophobic comments, like, yeah, man,
Yep.
I just don't know why sometimes people just can't. Like, just stop. Just,
Yeah.
why?
He also got Dr. Disrespect backed him up too.
Yeah,
That's
It's
true.
it was a weird comment.
it
Like
really was.
I don't quite understand what he was trying to say as far as like him saying, I want to be the one to talk to my kids about what, Pride Month? Is that what he was saying?
Yeah, because the whole
Yeah.
thing with like Florida voting on whether
Right.
or not they were going to celebrate Pride Month, blah blah
It's
blah.
just such a weird stance for him to take, because it didn't seem like he was coming out and saying like, I'm against Pride Month. It was like him saying like, I want to tell my kids about it. I don't want it in school, which to me says, are you against it then? Or what's out of such a
Confusing.
weird gray area that he chose to stand in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Yeah,
get it.
because I think for the most part, like the big part of it was like, oh, I wanted to be kept out of schools was the
Mhm.
main thing
Mhm.
there, and I think that's what people tend to latched on to. I'll admit,
Right.
like his comment was really weird. I had to read it a couple times,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
to kind of figure out what people were mad about. But it's it's Pride Month. Everybody should be celebrated. How people want to
Yeah.
teach their kids or celebrate that, it kind of should be up to them and things like that. I just don't think a school should get to vote on whether or not they celebrate it or not. That is,
Mhm.
I feel like that's strange, but this
Mhm.
isn't a
Yeah.
political podcast.
Just
Yeah.
weird.
But like, what isn't strange or confusing is just play games.
Yeah.
Just play games. I don't want to hear
Yep.
your stances on major. I'm playing games most of the time to avoid what the world is throwing at me in general. Like I'm trying to escape and get away. Just play games. Like that's why I'm watching you. Like
Yeah,
you
I
know what
play
I mean?
games to stay off of Twitter, so I don't say these types of things.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Just play games. God.
Yep.
I wasn't sure. Did we talk about the Apple Vision VR headset last week?
No.
No, we didn't.
$3,500 for an
Yeah.
augmented reality headset. I did watch a lot of videos. MK HD kind of came out, really showed what it's supposed to be. I don't think it's meant to compete with the Meta.
Right.
It just seems as though it is a very, smart VR augmented reality system where be able to watch movies in your VR little space there. FaceTime stuff and how it integrates with Apple will all be really cool. But man, that's a lot of money.
$3,500.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah,
I mean,
a
the
lot
biggest
of
thing
money.
the biggest thing for me wasn't it like the whole interaction without using any type of hand thing, using just like your face,
Your
eyes,
eyes, yeah.
ears, eyes, and yeah. So, I mean, that makes it into the thousands for me. But when I still saw the price tag, I was just like, that's an Apple product.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Overpriced. How many of these are they going to sell though?
The Apple fan base is kind of insane.
Yeah, they
If
are.
you ask me. So
Yeah.
the people who love Apple and are rich, they're gonna buy this and probably think it's really cool.
But it's going to
again-
end up like a lot of people's Oculuses, where they use it for 2 months and then it gathers dust.
Yeah,
yeah.
that is
But I can back you up, Barry, as somebody who loves the Apple landscape but is poor, so he hangs on to his devices. He doesn't
Yep.
upgrade his iPhone every year or anything like that. I do see the appeal. If you would have if I would have $3,500 just to be able to throw,
I still wouldn't get it.
but here's the thing. Here's to tell you as an Apple dedicated person, dedicated, I would probably get it because that's what Apple creates with its Kool-Aid aspect, where it's like it's
And-
Apple.
they will support it as well. Like
Right.
Yeah.
usually the stuff that they make, they'll support until the end of time if possible. So
Yeah.
that is
Right.
something that Apple's always done, and they've done well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other news you guys want to go into?
I just had 2 quick ones here that I wanted to point out. One, I wanted to talk about the college football not ban, but the Players Association is calling for a boycott of the college football game next year.
Yep.
So here's the deal.
We can never have anything nice.
Here's the deal. What came out was EA is going to pay each player who is in the game and gives their name, not likeness, just name, because they're not going to do likeness. Will get $500. First initial reaction, because the Player Association says that's not enough. My first initial reaction was that's low, but then you think about how many teams are in that game and how many players are on a team, and multiply that by $500. That's a lot. My other thought process here is you can call for the boycott of the game and the players can all boycott and not put their names in. But guess what? We're going to be in the same position we were before, where we're playing this game with numbers instead of names. We're going to download the roster update that somebody made with the names, and we're going to go on about our day. Right? It's not going to change anything. People are still going to buy this game. I'm going to buy it. And if it's just numbers instead of names, I really don't care.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, I know it's not a whole lot, but take your $500, man.
Seriously.
You nuts?
and you also tend to, like, especially with this NCAA game, you're
Mhm.
gonna kind of live like forever, like a legacy. With just your name on this game. You know, there's been so much brought to this game to even bring it back to life.
Yep.
And the fact, and you know, yes, it is a lot of money with a lot of teams. You know, there are a lot of Division 1 NCAA teams, and that doesn't even include if they put Division 2 in and that kind of thing. So it's going to I'm kind of with you, Craig. Just like take the $500, and then when you get Madden when you get the new NCAA game in your hand, you know that you're at least in it, a part of it.
Right.
You know, it's not about the likeness portion of things, I think, for the most part, but your name is somewhere in that game, and that's not, you know, for the past, what is it, almost been, the last one they made was 2014.
Yeah.
It's almost been 9 years, and it's going to be 10 by the time the game comes out. You know that you get updated, you're in the game, where, you know, there are players that haven't been added within the last 10 years that don't get to have their names in NCAA.
Yep.
So I don't know. Just don't take it for granted.
What price did the Players Association think should be?
See, I don't know. And like, I understand the argument of like the higher profile players being like, I should be paid more than somebody who's third string on, you know, Alabama, right? Or whatever. I get that argument, but here's the thing. If you're like one of these high profile players, you're going to go to the NFL, you're going to be in Madden, where you do get more money based on how popular or how, you know, productive you are. This isn't Madden. This is college, right? You already have, if you're a high profile player, you already have your NIL deals.
Yeah, you've got millions of dollars.
You are already getting paid a ton of money, free merchandise, cars, clothes, whatever. To me, I look at it as like, this is almost more so for the second and third stringers who aren't going to get those deals to at least get $500
and longevity, like Barry was saying.
I'd take $500 when I was in college. You kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like it's overly petty. I get where they're coming from, but like, if I was EA, I would be almost tempted to be like, all right, cool. We're just going to do numbers again because everybody's going to buy it anyway. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, you're not getting any money now. We're just going to save our millions we were going to spend, and we don't need to spend it. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye. And I can't even be mad at EA on this one.
No. Yeah. Normally you can be mad at EA, but not on this one.
The last one is just public service announcement for everybody. Barry already told you this one. As of time of this recording, we're recording on Sunday. The Final Fantasy 16 deep dive is going to be happening at 7 p.m. This is just an announcement that afterwards the Final Fantasy 16 demo will be live for PlayStation, so make sure you go download that.
Yay.
Do not miss.
Play. Excited to.
And you get to save your progress in that one, right? I'm pretty sure I heard.
I believe so.
Yeah. Or so like if you get the actual game, it'll start where you left off.
Yeah, buddy.
Let's go.
Right. Do you have any news, Craig?
You touched on it. I was going to talk about the skins and that controversy because that's just crazy. But we touched on that already. That was the big one I had.
Let's get into games played this week. For me, it's going to be Lies of P demo, as all three of us have alluded to. And I have also jumped on the Diablo 4 train. I've
Hey,
played about 4
console
hours
or
of it.
PC?
PC.
Okay,
Oh my god.
sweet.
Yeah, go ahead.
Liza P demo for me as well. I played Loop 8 and I played I believe it's pronounced Hoa.
Okay.
That's what I played.
Slowly trekking. I am not going to go the Barry's route. Slowly trekking to Beating Tears. I don't have to talk about that. I'll just get my final thoughts when I'm done. Also Diablo 4 this week for me, so I could just kind of piggyback whatever you're saying there, Barry, with your first takes, if there's anything different from me. And then Liza P, and I did the Street Fighter 6 demo.
Sweet.
So I'll talk about Diablo 4 because we talked about
Yeah.
that last week. As someone who's completely new to the Diablo franchise and hasn't played much of it, um, it is kind of hard with how slow this game can be. Like I have friends who are level 30 and 40, and when you get the horse, it is a much easier time. I just kind of wish that the horse I could have the horse now so I could streamline things a little bit better.
Yeah.
It doesn't look great on my PC, but my PC plays it just fine. Because I do have an older gaming PC. But overall, like I'm playing as a druid. It is very tough early game for me right now. But I do hear it gets better later on. It's nice to just have a bunch of friends who can help you out through the beginning parts of the game too. Like we blasted through Act 1 in 4 hours with my brother who's like level 30 or something.
I'm still not even done with one.
Yeah,
So
neither,
there he goes. Yeah,
neither am I.
I'm done with Act 1.
I keep getting distracted.
I know all those sellers.
Yeah. I think
And,
I'm like
yeah.
17. I think. What level are you, Barry?
I think I'm around that. I think
Okay.
I am like 15, 16, 17.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just distracted.
Yeah, same here.
I get it.
Are you world tier 2?
No, I'm just 1.
I went with 1 to start.
I did 2 because I wanted.
Oh,
I didn't know.
okay.
I didn't know the
Big gamer here.
challenge.
True
Yeah.
gamer.
I mean, you get better drops.
Yeah.
I just figured my first time through, I was like, let me just do it on World Tier 1 because for the most part, I was playing by myself. So I'm like, you know what? It still can be tough, World Tier 1. But yeah, you're crazy going World Tier 2. Look at you.
Yeah.
Just saying. You're my necromancer.
And then I will let you guys talk about your other games before I guess we all just talk about Life of P as the closing statement.
Okay. All right. So Loop 8. Let me talk about this one. This one's a wild one. Loop 8. All right. The best way to explain this, and this is why this one caught my eye because normally it wouldn't, is a anime as hell anime game. It is a RPG / roguelite, I guess. What caught my attention was it had a little bit of Persona where it's like you build up your relationships, which in turn builds up your levels, and then you go fight. But if you die, you start all over.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Here's where I fell off the train because I was like, that sounds interesting. I can get into that. What they don't tell you is one, when you're not doing the actual fighting, this is like a full blown visual novel. Like just so much. Yep. And when you die, guess what? It's the same thing. Like it doesn't even change. And I was like, oh, maybe if it changes a little bit. Nope. You go through the same intro again and again. It's so the idea is interesting. I can get behind the idea, but once I realized that, like, I was like, oh man, this is just the same intro. And I'm just like, skip. I already read all this. And there's just so much, like when you first start out, it's like, all right, talk. All right, go to the school, talk. All right, go home, more talk. And there's like nothing you're doing except walking 5 steps and getting like 10 minutes of dialogue. I was like, I can't do this over and over again. If it would have changed a little bit, I probably would have stuck with it.
Yeah, some underlying tone.
Right, but there wasn't. It's just like, just start over. Like that's not. It needs to give me something to want to keep going. So yeah, I gave up on that one pretty quickly after that. But I got to talk about HOA, and it's spelled HOA. And from here on out, I'm just going to call it Home Owners Association because that's what I think of when it's HOA. But anyway, I picked this one up because it's one of the games with gold free games this month.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about it: you beat this game in about an hour. It is a super relaxing platformer. You can't even die. It's a lot of like light puzzles, very very few enemies, and but where I think this thing excels is one, the art style is absolutely gorgeous. Reminds me of like a Princess Mononoke or something like that.
Okay.
And
Mhm.
oh my god, is the music fantastic. It's
Okay.
incredible. I cannot stress this enough. This game came out in 2021, but guess what? It's going on my list this year because I don't care.
Okay.
Okay.
This game is incredible. Like I had so much fun playing through it. I would have played it for like 4 hours, but the fact that it's such a like tight, concise game that you can just sit down and play and be done with, and listen to the fantastic music and look at the incredible artwork that went into this game. Everybody should be downloading this game while it's free this month on Xbox and playing it. So it's going on my list. It's going on the list for best music this year. And you know what? This one might actually stay in my top 10 at the end of the year. I'm
Cool. That's
What?
awesome.
not gonna lie, it's gonna be hard to knock it
What?
out. So everybody go play that. Both of you go play that, and then you can tell me that you didn't like it or
Sure.
something. I'll be
Yeah,
upset.
yeah. First take. First take. I need
Yeah.
all emotion reaction right now from you, Craig. Better music than Hi-Fi Rush.
Yep. Yep. See,
Okay.
I have my separate list on my phone for best music, and right now it's just Hi-Fi Rush and Hoa.
Okay.
But I have to actually go back and think like what other games had good music that I played so far. Street Fighter 6 has some good music too, but yeah, I think
Mm.
it's better than Hi-Fi Rush music. Yeah.
And then what? And then Craig, you
Speaking
said.
of,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that was an awesome transition. Thank you, Craig. Street Fighter 6 demo.
Yeah.
Wowza. So the one thing that I was really impressed with, and I knew this going into the game based on reactions, reviews, and things like that, they really did make this the user-friendly fighting game.
Mhm.
They are polite in the beginning. They say which like style do you want to use? You
Yep.
can always go and work yourself up to the traditional controller feel later. I didn't realize that essentially the assisted controller feel was like holding the I guess it would be R2 or right trigger button, and it helps with your combos, connecting combos, creating more combos and such like that as you're playing. um, I could see where people who are getting started think it's a little bland in the beginning, but they're just teaching you how to play. I don't think that the fighting, the stoppage points in the beginning so they could teach you the different things, because I just wanted to get it from square one. I didn't
Mhm.
think those stoppages took any feel away from the game, but then they throw you into the world where
Yeah.
you're walking around and you could beat up anybody, essentially. Everybody has a level to them. Everybody has like a name or at least a designation with the kind of person they are. And I kind of bought into the limited amount of time in that open world that they showed. They have the food truck so you can bring up your health again, with nice visuals for the food that you're eating right before you do. They have all that kind of stuff that people like, including
Like Monster
myself.
Hunter.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. And the combat's great. I didn't do a lot of it because the demo actually is pretty short. Um, and but like what I did play, the combat that I did play, I did like. I'm still on the fence of whether I would want to purchase it. I might be the waiter because, like,
Yep.
I'm like you guys. I'm not good at fighting games anymore. I was better as a kid at fighting games back,
Mm-hmm.
than I am now. But I kind of really wanted to put some number of eggs in this basket this year. I just don't know if I could do it right now. And
Yeah.
then to top it all off, the demo ends right when they tell you, because you're supposed to meet um characters from the original game and subsequent games. You meet them throughout your journey, and they kind of teach you an art or teach you a fighting style, a move, so that you can do different things with your character. The character creation's fine. I didn't spend a lot of time with it. I just wanted to demo it. But they end the demo with one of the characters in the game saying, "All right, now you got to go meet Chun-Li." And I literally said, "I get to meet Chun-Li," and then it was like, "You are finished with your demo." And I was like, mm. I was like, that's how they get you. They tell you to go meet Chun-Li and then they end it, so you go buy the game out of emotion. But all in all, it's a good demo. It's a good game. It's very colorful. It's fun. It's fun. It didn't do it for me to spend the money, but that's also because I have a bunch of games that I am going to be playing anyway, instead. So I probably will pick it up later.
That's fair.
Lies of P.
Yeah.
Demo then. Talking about a demo that's not that short. It is
Right.
a fairly girthy demo. Overall, Lies of P, my bold prediction is the reason they're not making Bloodborne 2 is because Lies of P is Bloodborne 2.
It's right here. Yep.
Yeah, this is your Bloodborne 2 if that's what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
I still really don't know what the whole like lie or die sort of portion is, because in the demo there are these certain moments where you lie and then like it looks like it hurts them a little bit, but then nothing happens. So I have no idea what this lying mechanic is supposed to do, and maybe we get a bit more into it with it. Overall, it's a Soulsborne, very much to the core. It is very Bloodborne-like with some very Victorian, type scenery with a lot of machinery, type of things built in with, Geppetto being this world-class builder of puppets, and Pinocchio are the most special puppet of all, because you can lie apparently. However that works, and I overall enjoyed it. It's a little bit slower than Bloodborne, I think. It's just not as fast as the other ones, but maybe with weight and things like that, your player becomes faster. There's a lot of kind of stuff to it, but like the main thing there is, you get your weapons all have like these two different sort of special attacks that you can do with them, and you kind of decide which one you want to use your bar for to do, to do that. Whether one does like a slash and stuns, the other increases attack. There's a ton of like different weapons. It seems like, in your arm, you can trade out your arm for, there's a rocket thing that pulls people closer to you, and then the other one you can unlock is pretty much an electric lightning bolt that you just shoot at people, sort of deal. I overall enjoyed it. I wasn't like as impressed as I guess I thought I would be with Lies of P, but I guess it's more or less because it just feels like Bloodborne 2, but I also just don't know, again, like, is there something more to this lying mechanic that I don't understand? Is it eventually something that will come to play a bigger part than what I think it will? But what did you guys think?
Yeah. I thought it looked smooth.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, it's maybe because I haven't played enough like Souls type games, but I was so confused at first about having to like resharpen my sword.
Yeah.
I was like, the first time I was like, why am I just taking damage? What is going on? And I was like, oh, I have to resharpen it because it loses its durability. I think the design is cool. It looks really cool. I don't know. I think this one's gonna be a big hit on Game Pass.
I think it will
Yeah.
as well. I know I texted the both of you and I was like, Game Pass though, like good move.
Yep.
The sharpening of the sword reminds me of Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
It's just like you feel like you had to do that in more hectic times because usually you have to do that like while you're fighting a monster. But I'm bought into the atmosphere and the environment. It seemed like, for lack of a better term, that the combat, at least it felt in the beginning, could use a little WD-40. Because it did feel
better,
machines. That was my
the joke you were going for.
That was a joke. The delivery wasn't there. The delivery can use the WD-40, but I after I got the mechanics that feel down, there are some things they're doing different, and they do have like the classic Souls-like, Soulsborne things. But Barry, you're right. It's Bloodborne 2. Just kind of more of a mechanized thing. It also reminds me of the game, Craig, that I know at least you and I played. What was that one during the French Revolution?
Oh yeah, Steel Rising.
Steel Rising.
Yeah.
Steel Rising missed a lot of marks, but it looked like that's where they were going.
Yep.
Except they just didn't. Like they just didn't. They just didn't execute. So it had kind of a feel like that. I'm interested to see the lying mechanic more as well. But as soon as I beat that first heavy character and opened the doors in that train station, not spoiler alert, in that train station and opened it up, like I was like, I'm bought in. I saw like I'm in. Bloodborne is 90% about the environment in terms of what its lasting impression was, because it does have the Souls feel like you can get in any Souls game. But like what made Bloodborne, people like myself revere Bloodborne for years past, was what they were able to execute in a little bit of the enemy build and who you fought in the world. But it was the world. Like it was like, oh my God, where am I? Like, what is this? So
you're in England, mate.
Yeah. So I can't wait to play it. I don't think it's going to be a top 5 for me, but we'll see how it unfolds.
I do feel like it does need to be a tad faster. I agree with you, Barry.
Yeah, and I just don't know whether or not that fastness becomes, and it seems like they do a weight thing where maybe your character moves a bit faster when you're using lighter stuff rather than heavy. I picked the balanced.
I picked the light one, and I still felt slow.
Oh, okay. So maybe it really doesn't matter. Maybe it's still like the same pace there. So that was something I was considering. But if you pick the light one, then that would be where it's different. Did we all finish the?
Yeah, the light was interesting because the heavy attack with the light, I don't know if it's the same for you guys with what you picked, but it was like he would like lunge forward and stab and then immediately jump back out of the way. So like all you had to do for like the bosses was just spam that, because he would like hit them and jump back out of the way and you wouldn't get hit, and just keep doing it. So I don't know if that was like an oversight or what, but yeah, I beat it.
If it works, it works.
Yeah.
I was also an idiot when I started playing, because when you do get to that heavy character that you fight, that's like the first real challenge, I was just using the standard attack because I was still trying to feel out like what the extras were, that you can do that makes the game different. So it took me a while to beat him because I was trying to figure that out.
He's pretty brutal.
Yeah, he is. The one thing that's kind of still hard to get down is like when you block something, if it's a perfect block, you don't take any damage. Right. But if it is a block that you take a hit for, you can recover health just like in Bloodborne. It just feels like the enemies are deliberately like super slow. Yeah. Because I'm sitting there like waiting for them to attack me, and it takes 5 minutes to load it up, and then I'm like, you know what? I've run out of patience. I'm just gonna kill you. Deal where I would just rather do that instead of wait for them to hit me so I can perfect block.
Yep.
But yeah, like Lies of P, this demo kind of drummed up a bit more excitement for me.
Same.
Just hopefully it kind of continues with what it's doing there. I do think really the art style is what makes this game. It is the Dark Victorian is just really cool. I like
always good. Yeah, when executed correctly, you can always get me or a lot of people with that.
Movies and TV shows then?
Sure.
All right.
Yes, Tatman.
The only movie I watched was Transformers: Rise of the Beasts.
Man, you've been busy in the theaters, huh?
Look at you.
And I'm going to go see Flash next week. So,
all right. So I finished the first season of Bupkis, got all that done, then I watched the movie everybody was excited about, Flamin Hot, about how the Flamin Hot Cheetos were made.
Oh, I know that story. Like, well, or at least I know like a little bit of it.
Yeah.
Let me just say one word: janitor. Or
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I know I know the backstory. I don't know the movie though.
Yeah.
For me, I just watched Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. I'm trying to carve out more time where I can watch stuff because I just go straight to gaming, but I want to be able to enjoy.
Yeah, imagine if you beat Tears of the Kingdom, how much more time you'd have.
So true.
Crazy how that works.
Valid point.
Maybe you should just start playing Tears of the Kingdom handheld while you watch movies.
Oh my God. Wait, is the Switch handheld? No.
It's a possibility. You could do that.
You're going to have to find a way to make the Switch handheld, though. That's going to be the difficult part. How do you get it out of the dock? How
I don't think it's going to come out anymore. It's fused.
I'll watch a YouTube video or two.
Used Ultra Hand and fused it to the there's the corny joke I have for the day.
I love it.
Do
more of that. Do more of that.
Oldest movie in here right now is Honor Among Thieves. So Craig, you're up first.
Well, there was honor among thieves in this movie.
Oh God.
Chris Chris Pine is Chris Pine. I love him. I love him in every movie. I was surprised, and I know that this movie has already been talked about on this podcast, but I was surprised at the amount of humor that they injected. And I kept going on with theories in my head because I know that there is a very dedicated Dungeons and Dragons fan base, audience, people with decades worth of experience doing it, either being a dungeon master or whatever. And it looked like they kept what would appear in any, not every, but in certain created Dungeons and Dragons storylines that dungeon masters all over the world make. But it looked like they really infused that humor in there to get the general audience, to get the millions and such like that, just to try to keep that. It also looked with who they casted. I think it was a well balanced cast. Michelle Rodriguez just cracked me up the whole time. I love her so much, and in every movie that she is in, she just spices everything up with her delivery and how she particularly acts in general. I did not know Sophia Lillis was in it, which she was the oh my god, I don't even know what you call her. She was the one who was trying to protect the forest, but I know her
She is a
from
druid.
Druid.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Druid.
Which
Yep.
which the person playing the Druid in Diablo answered, which is great. But
Did it on
I
purpose. I see what you're doing.
yeah, I enjoyed her from It. She was
Yep.
Beverly in It, and as you guys know, I really love It. So that was nice. I thought Hugh Grant was fantastic as Forge. He still can deliver a line and still do what he does best. And it told a great story. They didn't spend too much time in any one location, and some of the action parts were action enough. So it was a great movie. It's not my favorite of this year. It won't be my favorite of this year, but I enjoyed it. I giggled and belly laughed. So I consider that a win. Those are two different types of laughing that happened in moments in the movie for me. So it's great. I recommend watching it. It's available for streaming now if you have a Prime account. So go get that. Go do that.
Word.
All right.
Word.
You want to talk about Bupkis, or do I
Yeah.
get into? Okay.
Yeah, we can do that. Did you finish the season, Barry?
No, I'm halfway
Okay.
through.
Okay. So I'll be vague then.
Okay.
It was the way the season ended. I was unaware that they were aiming for multiple seasons, but they are. I will say that the thing that I bring away most from this show is whether or not it's intentional. It makes me annoyed with Pete Davidson more.
Oh, why?
I mean, it's like the whole thing with this show is like some of it's based on real life, some of it's not. Majority of it's made up. But he's just like in this show, just the most self-centered, only cares about himself type person. And they have kind of like a redemption arc at the end of the season. But even then, I was just like, man, whether they wanted to or not, I'm just like, I enjoy Pete Davidson. I think he's funny. But like this character, which is supposed to be him, I'm just like, man, he is just the worst. He really is, I enjoyed the show. The amount of cameos in every episode is just incredible. Like the people he can pull. And they all do it.
Funny, yeah.
Yeah. And it's definitely worth the watch. It's just funny that I was like, man, he's like getting on my nerves because he's just so like, I don't know. But regardless, like it's definitely worth a watch. I really enjoyed it, and I'll be there for season 2 for sure. I just don't want to get into details, obviously, till Barry you finish it.
Yeah, and I will.
Yeah.
So, in perfect segue to another Pete Davidson-led performance, Transformers: Rise of the Beast.
Pete Davidson.
Let's go.
A sequel to, I guess it's the same universe as Bumblebee. Is what they're
Mhm.
having it. Movie takes place in the 1990s this time around. Pete Davidson Mirage leads the cast along with, and I'm gonna have to bring up the cast list here because the one guy
He's from In the Heights.
Yes, In the Heights, which was to be
Anthony
fair,
Ramos, is that his name?
I thought so.
Is that right?
I'm about to Rise of the Beasts.
I think that's his name. I enjoy him a lot.
Yeah, and he was good in that. Yeah, Anthony Ramos.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize Lisa Koshy was RC, but now I realize that. Peter Cullen is still always going to be Optimus Prime. Man, is his voice for Optimus Prime?
His voice is awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, Peter Dinklage is scored.
That's
so,
cool.
Yes.
There's a lot of different stuff, and Cristo Fernandez. If we don't know who he is from Ted Lasso and the short little bit in Venom as well. He's the bartender at the end of Venom. He plays Wheeljack. He is in this game. It's kind of movie. It's kind of interesting. I didn't hate this movie. There are a lot of things that this movie I was kind of like, oh, it went that direction. Let's see where it goes. Oh, it went this direction. Let's see how this goes. And then the ending.
How do you feel about that end credit scene?
That's what I mean. Like,
oh yeah, I heard all about it.
I looked over to my friend who I went to the movies with, and I was like, "What the f was that?" Like, I was so confused.
Yeah.
But
combining that Hasbro universe, baby.
Yeah, it's the Hasbro universe. Is what they're making. I just didn't expect it because I thought at the end of that movie, like, they were doing this post-credit thing, and I thought it was going to, like, make some reference to maybe the future, like, you know, Transformers movies that they're doing or something like that. And I guess in a way it does, but because we're in the cinematic universe of Marvel, DC, we're now in the Hasbro universe is what we're looking at. And I won't say any more than that, considering. The movie does, like, I do like its action sequences. I do like that Optimus Prime is more, like, wary of humans in this one. He's not just like, oh, protect the humans kind of thing. He apparently learns that. I do wish we got to see more of the Maximals. They are kind of side characters to all this, but Optimus Primal, the gorilla, is cool. The Maximal, oh man, her name is, like, really hard to pronounce too. It's like Hersey or something like that. Kind of like the wise of all the Maximals sort of deal there. But man, I'm just trying not to spoil some of the stuff because, man, this movie's weird. It does some really weird stuff.
The question I have, because I was going to go see this weekend, and then I came to the conclusion, is this the right movie just to wait until it's streaming?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good question.
Because I was like, you know, I was reading reviews and I was like, do I really need to see this in theaters? I feel like I don't. Is it okay.
I would definitely say, like, it's more of a streaming movie. Like, had I paid money to go see it, I probably would have went like, you know, it's not terrible. That's probably how I would have felt. But, you know, at the ending, you know, gave me something to talk about.
Yeah.
But
everybody's talking about it.
Yeah, like, it just is always weird for me, and this is the past couple, like, Transformers movies where, you know, Optimus is just suddenly stronger, and I'm just not sure if that's how it works. Like, he doesn't receive a power-up, like in some of the older Transformer movies, where now he's stronger than Megatron.
Megatron doesn't
Megatron doesn't even make an appearance in this one. It's all about the planet-eating Transformer. But it's entertaining enough for me. Like, they give the humans are a bit more interactive in this one. Like, it's and also because it's not Michael Bay directing it. His studio produced the film, but it's not him directing it. So it's not like it's not Optimus Prime and Megatron fighting each other and there's 20 different cuts in a 5-second segment. It's action's a bit more drawn out. You get to see the animations and that kind of thing. It's always funny because, to me, like, there's always a couple of frames where it's like, we gotta show Optimus Prime transforming from a truck to a robot. Like, they do that constantly in this movie. It's did you forget he's a truck? Yeah. Like, oh, did you forget he's a truck? Guess what? That truck's now a robot.
Yeah, but those are always the coolest, man. The highlight of that trailer for me was Anthony Ramos getting out of the car while it transforms behind him in slow-mo. Like, that's so cool. Like that's the shots I want in a Transformers movie.
I can't wait to like. If you did you get spoiled on what happens not in the post credit scene but in the big fight?
No, I didn't.
Okay, I'd love to see what you think about that.
Okay.
Because I don't know if they ever did it in Transformers or Maximals, but what happens with Anthony Ramos's character, I was like, I just looked at the screen like, what is going on? Like, it's entertaining enough, but it is quite weird.
Listen, I'm coming off watching Fast 10 again, because it's streaming, so like nothing is off limits for me at this point. Everything is possible.
Anything is possible with it.
Okay.
Look, if you feel like it, I do wonder how fast it'll come to streaming because it never feels like it comes fast enough there.
Right.
But yeah, it's an all right movie that I think it's almost like worth talking about more than almost going to see it at this point because everyone's like, "What was that post credit scene?" And what does it mean for the next movie? Or are they doing that other franchise before starting the next movie? Like, is this a reboot of everything? It really is all over the place.
Where's Channing Tatum?
Where's
Where's The Rock?
Yeah. I do think, though, that Pete Davidson's performance in this is actually pretty good.
Okay.
Like, he's meant to be kind of, like, Bumblebee doesn't take center stage in this one. He is a side character where Mirage, Pete Davidson's character, is a lot more of a he's that Bumblebee sort of way. He's cracking jokes. He's meant to be kind of the fun having fun with the human character like Bumblebee was in the past movies. Just like overall I enjoy it though. Like he walks a fine line of not being annoying and just being entertaining enough. And which is good on him. Like, it's Bubkiss apparently, the character he plays is self-centered a-hole, but
he's
this
the
one
worst.
he's kind of a little fun transformer. I didn't mind him at all.
Okay.
I'll be interested to see what you guys think because
I'm excited to watch it, but like I think I'm gonna wait because that's is that Paramount? Is that Universal?
It should be. It should be Paramount. It should be Paramount that gets it.
If you think about Fast 10 this week just went to rent streaming and it's been out in the theaters for a month.
And I think it's still out in theaters.
Yeah, it is. So I would imagine Transformers can't be probably 3 or 4 weeks from now. It's going to be streaming.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
One thing I do want to say, and this is completely off topic from any of the movies we've talked about. Good on like the Super Mario movie for already being out.
Yes.
Like that in itself, I was like, you know what, this is cool. Like I just, we just saw it maybe a month or two ago, and now it's already on 4K, DVD to watch. Like it, I hate the fact
that up, didn't you?
Oh yeah, it's getting sent to me, but it's getting sent to me. But yeah, no, it's there shouldn't be such a long wait time between the two. Like,
agreed.
I won't get into it. But
no, I totally understand. It is a long wait for physical media anymore.
Yeah. Did you guys have anything else that maybe I missed or wanted to talk about?
Flamin' Hot, man.
Oh, that's
Flamin' Hot, man.
Cheetos.
All right, so let me give you. All right, so here's the thing. For the three of us, we all work retail, right?
Yes.
So for me, first of all, I like this movie a lot. It's a Mexican man who is a janitor. He actually couldn't find a job. He ended up getting a job as a janitor for Frito-Lay. And basically coming up with the formula. Well, he did come up with the formula for Flamin' Hot Cheetos that we eat today. The big thing here is he saw a need that was not being addressed, which was spicy foods in the snack aisle. He came up with this with his family on his own, and he took the initiative to look in his manager's office and find the directory and call the owner of Frito-Lay. And literally just be like, hey, I have this idea. And the owner listened to him, the CEO. He came down and gave him a shot. And there's even a point where like he gives him a shot and it's not working. So he literally calls up all his friends and family and they just go out into the neighborhood and start handing out Flamin' Hot Cheetos to everybody because it wasn't being advertised. For us who work in retail, the biggest takeaway for this was that the investment needs to be in the employees and not the company, right? That's the whole point of this movie, and I enjoyed that. It was like, you know what?
Yeah.
There's ideas out there from the most unlikeliest of places that end up being $1 billion, investment or opportunity for your company. For a movie that I was like, yeah, I'll watch it. I honestly could care less about a movie about Flamin' Hot Cheetos. They do a good job of keeping you invested and entertained. I do believe it's on Hulu, but I think it's also on Disney Plus as well.
Okay.
It's like on both for some reason.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, definitely check it out if you're looking for something to watch. It's not long. It's like an hour and a half, and I think it's well worth the time.
Sure, perfect.
Yeah, I love stories like that.
Yeah.
That's so I'll definitely check that out.
It's important.
Flamin' Hot Cheetos, and I'm not even that big a fan of Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
Oh, they're so
Are you
good.
guys?
Oh, they're
so good. Burn so good. They say that in the movie. His kid is the taste tester, and every time he tries something, it's always it burns. But when he gets it right, he goes, "It burns so good." And I was like, "You are so right."
Yeah.
Maybe I can try Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
Oh,
I
they're
just
so good.
They're
I really haven't
really
given
good.
them. I haven't given them a fair shot. Maybe
They're
that's my
so hot, but they're so good.
Well, what? Nah. I was to say
Were
what
you gonna
does.
transition?
I was gonna try and transition, but then I messed up the quote. It's gonna be like, "What doesn't hurt, or what does hurt so good is the ending of the podcast."
It's the news.
I like it.
I want to thank everybody for listening and or watching. If you're on YouTube, if you feel so inclined, please make sure to review it on your podcast listening platform of choice. Follow us, review us, share it with friends. It helps us grow, and we appreciate it. If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure to like and subscribe and comment on how we didn't talk about your favorite game, or that the ending of Rise of the Beast is the work of art that I don't understand that it is. So we appreciate all the support that we get. I thank you guys for listening, and we will see you guys next time.
See you
Bye.
later.
Later, guys.